graduated LACC in 2019. I got my associates in modern political studies, liberal arts, and arts and humanities. And it was really the emphasis of gaining knowledge in the area of political science. One of the questions that Brenda gave us was, what was one of your favorite moments at LACC? And this is one of my, if not the most favorite, top three.
So wherever your role takes you, believe in yourself, achieve your dreams, and I wish you nothing but success in all of your future endeavors. Congratulations, class of 2019.
Both Armine and Brenda helped me with that speech. I got, because I was the president of student government, which I'll touch on later, I was given the opportunity to speak at the commencement. But yeah. All right, so my college experience, my background. My name is James Ingram, as I mentioned. I'm from Akron, Ohio. Anybody heard of that place? Akron, Ohio? Nobody? There's somebody you might have heard of that's from that same city.
LeBron James.
That's right. There it is. So I went to middle school with him. I used to be taller than him. You know what I'm saying? I was gonna put that out there. My passions. So I make music. I love to read. Ironically, I play basketball. I like to play basketball, and I play video games. You know what I mean? Like I'm a gamer, like 100%. Those are my passions. How I ended up in LA. So I was doing a 5-year production deal as a music producer in Atlanta, and I was like, well, you know, I was producing for a lot of big names like Lil Wayne, Rick Ross, people like that, and I was like, if I could do it in Atlanta, maybe I could do it in LA. Start off small, start with local acts, and then expand, which is still in the process. But that's how I ended up in LA, and then how I ended up at LACC. So you might have heard about an election in 2016, it was a presidential election. A man by the name of Donald Trump actually won. And at that time, I was not involved in politics at all. I was like, I need to understand how this happened, what politics entails, and how can I become part of the solution and not just sideline and saying, you know? So I was like, you know what, I'm about to go to LAC, I'm about to go to school and go for political science. And what happened was I Googled schools in Los Angeles, and LACC was the first school to pop up. So I looked at it and I was like, okay, it had a list of people who graduated from here. So it was like, anybody heard of Morgan Freeman? So Morgan Freeman went and graduated from here. Mark Hamill, anybody familiar with Star Wars? So MC Hammer, you know what I mean? It was like a lot of people. I was like, dang, this school is popping. I'm gonna try to see what I can do. So I ended up going to the admissions office, and yeah, I signed up and I started going to LACC. So here's my, I tried to put it all together to save some time. So LACC undergrad and grad school experience. So the first thing was time. And that time went to studying. So there are a lot of things that you gotta read when it comes to obviously political science, you know, history, writing, and you just gotta have a lot of information before you start on the next thing, which is so studying and then writing papers. So like, yeah, I wrote a lot of papers, and not just for my classes, but also for scholarships, you know, for experiences. Like UCLA had this program where you could, you know, spend like a week or two, like a week there, and you'd spend a week on campus and you go to classes. So I had to like write up why I would be a good selection for that, you know, things like that. So you gotta like put time towards that. Office hours, you gotta, you know, meet with your professors, academic advisors, and then your advisors outside of the academic school help you with extracurricular activities like student government. Armine was one of my advisors and mentors, and has helped me a lot when it came to just navigating the process of community college. And then your personal life, you know what I mean? Like I said, I'm a gamer, so I had to make sure I put some time aside to play some games, you know what I mean? Because I ain't about to be stressing myself over whether or not I got a good grade or a bad grade in classes and stuff like that. So it was just about having that work-life balance, or in this case, school-life balance. Then you got internships and extracurricular activities. This is one thing that actually changed my life. So I mentioned, I was in student government. So at one point I was a senator, and then the next year I became president. I was elected president of student government. And when those doors opened for the opportunities to be in student government, a lot more doors opened. I was able to go to DC. We actually met Kamala Harris, now Vice President of the United States. We went to Sacramento, advocated on behalf of the students, like LGBTQ rights, homeless, just a bunch of different issues. I got an internship with the mayor of the city, at the time, Eric Garcetti, and then that opened the door to actually landing a job and now a career in local government. Preparing for life after college. So after LACC, I didn't know what was gonna happen. I applied for a lot of colleges, but because I went from high school to college, like I graduated in 2003, y'all, high school. And I tried to go like right after, but it didn't work. So I had to drop out. But when I dropped out, I didn't withdraw from my classes. So those grades stayed on my transcript. And I didn't know, like, I told everybody, like, it's no use of applying to these schools because I'm not gonna get accepted. And, you know, they told me, they still encouraged me, from the advisors down on the second floor, to Arminate, to Brenda, and to everybody that, you know, because this school is like real supportive, real encouraging, and they try to, you know, help you develop into your fullest potential. And when they were telling me that, like, you should still apply, it gave me a little bit of hope. All a person has is hope. And if you, you know, make sure they keep a hold of that, you never know, you know, what they can become. And because they were giving me, or like not taking away that hope and contributing to it, it helped me get accepted into USC. So I got accepted into USC, which I never thought would happen. That was like the last school I thought I would ever get accepted into. And yeah, so I ended up going there. I went to USC for 2 years, and I continued my internship with the mayor. I also took on another internship helping somebody with their campaign. And yeah, so now I graduated from there. I'm in my master's program at the Chicago School of Professional Psychology. And what I'm doing with that is gaining the knowledge to help individuals with goal setting, time management. I can even go to like corporations, organizations, and help them improve the functionality of how their organization operates. But before that, I was like, am I gonna just go get a job and not go to, not continue my education? Or do I wanna continue my education, or do I wanna take a break? Enough about me. We'll get into how this can help you, right? So first, planning ahead. Anybody know what first off, anybody know that they wanna go to college after high school? Can you raise your hand, please? Now, out of those people, do you all know like what you wanna major in already? Can I hear some? Like, you can just shout it out, it's okay. I'm just curious.
And there was a radiology, someone?
Radiology? Somebody trying to get that money, okay.
Nursing.
Nursing, nice. Nursing. Okay, anybody on the fence, whether or not they, like, if they don't wanna go to college? Anybody don't wanna go to college? Okay, anybody wanna go to college but don't know what they wanna major in? There we go. All right, so the reason why I ask those questions, because one thing you're gonna keep in mind is purpose, like your why. And one way, there's a man named Brian Tracy, he's like a motivational speaker, and he talks about like how to find your purpose, right? And he says like, what you wanna do is write down a list of things that you're passionate about. In our program, the grad program, they call it KSAs, knowledge, skills, and abilities. I add passions on there. So knowledge, skills, abilities, and passions. Write a list of those. Try to come up with 20, a minimum 5. 5 of the things that you know the most about, the things that you love to talk about, things that you love to do. Write a list of those. And then out of those, you try to see which one is the one that is like resonates with you the most? And then you build off of that. How can I make a career out of this? How can I find an education? How can I find a program, educational wise, in this field? And that way, it can help you. I'm not saying this is gonna be the end all be all solution, but it can help guide you to what major you wanna decide on. 2, cost. So Brenda can touch on this, but from my understanding, if you're coming from high school to LACC, that's how much you gotta pay. And that's super huge, because if you try to go to a 4-year college straight out of high school, and you gotta take out loans, or you gotta reach out to somebody to co-sign for you on them loans, or hopefully you can get a scholarship, but either way, you have to pay. You know what I mean? That's the thing about going to a 4-year college after high school. So here, you come for free, you build relationships, you get involved, like I mentioned, extracurricular activities, clubs, student government. I meant to mention this, I'm on the speech sheet too. But, so these are some things that you can think about, like when it comes to cost, like it's free. And then in that, I get to go to the same school that MC Hammer went to. No, it's fun. So challenges. What are some challenges that y'all think could come up?
Money.
Anything. Shout them out. Just shout them out.
Money.
Money. That's like number 1 right there. Anybody over here? Any challenges that might come up? Professors. They're gonna get into the nerves. I'm telling you. You're gonna get sick of these professors. I'm joking. But yeah. So these are a few things, but also you might get sick. You might have to work at the same time that a class is, or you might have to babysit, your little brother or something like that. Or there are so many things that could come up. And the reason I bring that up is because what you want to do is the challenges that you think about, try to get ahead of the curve. If this challenge comes, how will I handle it if it does happen? So you get ahead of the curve, you try to, manage the problems that you might face. Build relationships, so you got professors and advisors, I already talked about that, but you wanna build these relationships because you wanna ensure that they're giving you information on how to best do your work. Start there. 2, you never know, they can become a mentor. So these professors and advisors can help you navigate not only through your college experience, but also life, you know what I mean? Because, let's face it, nobody knows how to adult. You know what I mean? We all are experimenting. And then, with those who have gained some experience with that, you might want to listen to them, because it can help build your knowledge on how to go about it. And then 3, letters of rec. These teachers, professors, these advisors, they can write you letters of recommendation for a job, for your school. If you do want to go to once you do want to go to another school after you finish here, so keep that in mind. Friends, you gotta have friends. Why you gotta have friends? Somebody tell me why.
You are who you hang out with.
Cause you don't want to be alone.
Yeah.
That's right, exactly. Well, you gotta have somebody to cheat off of, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, you wanna have somebody to relate to, because like we mentioned, somebody said professors over here. If there's a professor that is like getting on your nerves, professor, blah, 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 said that. So you want to have somebody to relate to. You don't want to be alone.
Loneliness equals depression.
You better speak. Amen. That's facts. So have friends. I know y'all already got some here. Hopefully some of y'all are already thinking about coming to LACC. But the last thing, get involved. Extracurricular activities. Like I mentioned, speech clubs, student government. They got over 30, 40 clubs here, from dance clubs to I can't even remember. It was just so many. And these are the major keys. So, yeah. And then that's it. So, any questions?